Latricia is 38, and the reaction to that little nugget of info was everything. Folks were shocked. People were clutching imaginary pearls, and there was even a little shade tossed in about the weightlifting. Somebody said, "Her and Ken, baby. Lay off them weights, put it down." And I hollered. Because truthfully, that gym life can have you looking strong, but it can also have you aging in reverse, or speeding forward depending on your stress levels. And let's be real, growing up in the country can put some miles on you fast. Stress will do it, honey, and Latricia's got plenty on her plate. Now we quickly slide into the messy territory, because the conversation shifts to whether you're Team Nell or Team Tisha. And without hesitation, folks are calling themselves Team Nell. Why? Because the minute Nell sat down, Tisha was all up in her face wanting to know what was going on with her business. Yet, when it came time to talk about Tisha's own stuff, she hit us with the "let's change the subject" energy. And I don't know about you, but that just screams, I'm hiding something. Plus, we all know there is no way Tisha or Kimmy haven't discussed the rumors and mess going on in their households with their partners. No way. It's either been a topic or they're playing real dumb for the cameras, and neither option is looking cute. And speaking of not looking cute, let's talk about Chris. Child. Chris straight up lied, and not even a good lie. Like we're talking about, they've already seen the footage. Why are you still trying to deny it? Kind of lie. Melody had him backed into a corner so fast, he had no choice but to throw some folks under the bus and then try to backpedal out of it. And you know when someone is lying because they start talking about lawyer stuff out of nowhere. "Yeah, Chris, we saw you." And baby, it did not help when Tisha came stomping over, clearly a little tipsy and ready to go. Totu, with Nell over the whole situation. The way Tisha got so worked up about it makes me feel like she's got a secret she does not want coming to light. Now, let's pause on that for a second and get into the guys' conversation. We see Ken being told by the men, "You're not the good guy in this situation at all." And honestly, I have to agree. But what really had me laughing was the whole NDA conversation. Well, brings it up and suddenly you can see the panic on certain faces. Marsau especially looked like he swallowed his words when NDAs got mentioned. And that right there tells me all I need too. No NDAs are the reason a lot of this mess hasn't fully spilled out yet. Businessmen know to keep things under wraps, and an NDA will seal the lips faster than anything else. But baby, that wasn't even the most entertaining part. Let's talk about Ken at Latricia's birthday photo shoot. Now, I don't know if I was watching a couple shoot or a birthday shoot, because why was Ken front and center like it was his party? Trisha's turning 38. It's her moment, and yet Ken is over there grinning for the camera like a high schooler on prom night. Even Letitia had questions like, why are you even in the pictures? And honestly, she's not wrong. Plus, the photos themselves. The lighting was terrible. The editing looked like it was done on Microsoft Paint, and overall, it was just not giving the glamorous birthday vibe. Meanwhile, we circle back to the Scott brothers' dinner. And honestly, Morris was not trying to hear anything from anybody. This man was shutting down every attempt at a conversation, especially from Jalen. And look, I understand Maurice's point that he was hard on Jalen because he wanted the best for him. But there's a fine line between pushing someone and making them feel singled out. In the end, Morris did give an apology, which I'll give him credit for. It's not easy to admit you were wrong, especially on TV. But let's be real. The attempt to make Maurice look like the villain this season is just not landing. As for Jalen's big news about taking a job in Colorado, child, that whole reveal was like watching someone try to sneak in a confession at the dinner table without getting caught. Maurice's reaction was classic "I told you so" energy, and Marsau was just over there stirring the pot like he always does. But the real kicker, Jalen asking for a Ferrari right after having a serious talk. Baby, that took the conversation from heartfelt to ridiculous in about 3 seconds flat. Later, we get Nell and Latricia meeting up at Nell's office. And this is where I started side-eyeing Latricia hard. She seemed like she was writing for the Scotts way too much for someone who's supposed to be neutral, instead of holding them accountable for their lack of transparency. She's talking about wanting a building and getting clients with Ken, which makes me wonder, is this relationship between her and Ken about romance? Or is it just a GMN business partnership? Because the way they're portrayed on this show, Ken looks more like her workout buddy than her man. By the time the episode wraps, you can feel that Carlos King is trying to build a season-long feud between Nell and Kimmy, with Chris and Ken thrown into the mix. But here's the problem. We're stuck in the same conversations week after week. Transparency, NDAs, who's cheating, who's lying is all just looping around in circles. And as much as I love this show, I've got to say, the energy has shifted. We're missing that original power couple magic the series started with. If they don't shake up the storylines soon, viewers are going to get restless. But listen, the tension is still brewing. There's a clear divide forming. Nell, Chris, Latricia, and Ken on one side, and the Scotts holding it down on the other. And with hints that things might get physical between Nell and Kimmy. I'm telling you now, we might just be at the tip of the iceberg. This season could still explode if just one NDA slips or one secret gets caught on camera. So, here's my question for you between Marsau and Maurice. Who do you think has the bigger skeleton in the cheating closet? My money says both, because the brotherly bond is strong and covering for each other seems to be part of their DNA. But I want to know what you think. Drop your answer, keep the conversation going, and remember, this season is just warming up. Stick with me, because if history has taught us anything about love and marriage, Huntsville, it's that the calm never lasts for long. Fans were quick to jump on social media during the episode, and the reaction to Tisha confronting Nell without addressing her own mess was overwhelmingly one-sided. Viewers were saying things like, "How are you coming for somebody else when your own house ain't in order?" And Tisha always deflecting when it gets too real. A lot of people felt that if Tisha had just kept the same energy for her own situation that she had for Nell's, maybe people would believe she had nothing to hide. Instead, her defensiveness came across too many as a sign that the rumors might not be too far off from the truth. The whole NDA conversation also set social media ablaze. Fans picked up on Marsau's body language instantly, noting how he fumbled when Will brought up the topic. One fan tweeted that NDA comment hit Marsau in the chest. He was ready to run out the room. Another chimed in with businessmen. Please, more like keep my dirt under wraps men. Viewers seemed convinced that the only reason certain secrets haven't come out yet is because they're legally gagged. And the fact that no one outright denied the use of NDAs just fueled that theory even more. Chris's blatant lying had fans in the comments section dragging him mercilessly. People were writing, "Chris really thinks we're stupid. We saw the footage. And how are you going to lie in 4K when everybody's watching?" The general consensus was that Chris underestimated how closely the audience pays attention and how quickly his credibility went out the window. Some even pointed out that the more he tried to cover up, the guiltier he looked. It didn't help. That Melody had him backed into a corner, and fans loved every second of her not letting him off the hook. Ken's presence in Latricia's birthday shoot was another hot topic. Fans couldn't stop commenting about how awkward it looked, with one saying, "Ken acting like it's his birthday and she's just a guest." Others joked that Latricia should have cropped him out of the photos entirely, and that the whole shoot looked like an engagement announcement instead of a birthday celebration. Between the Microsoft Paint-level photo edits and Ken's overthought posing, viewers were laughing and shaking their heads at how off-brand it all felt for a milestone birthday. Maurice and Jalen's scene got more mixed reactions. Some viewers defended Morris, saying he was tough on Jalen because he wanted him to win. Nothing wrong with that. Others felt Maurice should have been more empathetic, with one comment reading, You can be supportive without being overbearing. But almost everyone agreed that the attempt to make Maurice the villain fell flat. In fact, a few fans said this scene actually made them respect him more, especially for apologizing on camera and trying to set an example of accountability. Even if Jalen's reaction wasn't exactly emotional or groundbreaking,